Everyone thinks Bataan was only about soldiers. They're wrong. The common narrative of Bataan paints a picture of desperate fighting men, surrounded and outmatched. But amidst the chaos, the starvation, and the relentless bombing, a group of women, U.S. Army nurses, faced the same hell, often without weapons, yet armed with an unwavering commitment to alleviate suffering. Their story, largely untold, is one of extraordinary resilience. When the Japanese launched their surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, the American forces in the Philippines were caught unprepared. General Douglas MacArthur's command, including over 100 U.S. Army and Navy nurses, found themselves quickly overwhelmed, retreating to the Bataan Peninsula and the island fortress of Corregidor. These nurses, often fresh from stateside hospitals, had signed up for service in the peaceful tropical paradise they imagined. Instead, they found themselves thrust into a brutal jungle war, the Pearl of the Orient rapidly transforming into a landscape of fear, disease, and constant bombardment. As the situation deteriorated, their makeshift hospitals, initially set up in schoolhouses and barracks, were pushed deep into the jungle. Two primary facilities emerged: Hospital Number 1, a 1,000-bed complex at Limay, and Hospital Number 2, a sprawling 3,000-bed operation near Cabcaban. Conditions were horrific. Operating under canvas, with limited supplies and constant air raids, the nurses worked tirelessly. Malaria, dysentery, and gangrene were rampant, often claiming more lives than enemy bullets. They performed amputations by flashlight, sterilized instruments in boiling water, and stretched every last bandage. Malnutrition became another enemy. As rations dwindled, nurses, like the soldiers, survived on horse meat, carabao, and even monkey meat. They battled starvation, yet often gave their meager portions to the wounded, prioritizing their patients' survival over their own. The psychological toll was immense. Nurse Juanita Redmond recalled the constant fear, the screams of the wounded, and the sight of comrades dying. Yet they maintained a remarkable composure, a calm professionalism that offered a semblance of hope in a hopeless situation. One nurse, Lieutenant Josephine Nesbitt, a former socialite, embodied this transformation. She arrived expecting a glamorous posting, but quickly adapted to the brutal realities, working relentlessly, her silk stockings replaced by mud-splattered fatigues. Their presence offered a unique comfort. To the soldiers, these women were angels of Bataan, a tangible link to home, to humanity, and to the world they'd left behind. Their gentle touch, a kind word, or just their presence provided immense moral support. As Bataan fell in April 1942, many nurses were ordered to Corregidor, the final stronghold. There, they continued their work in the Malinta Tunnel, a massive underground hospital carved into the rock. The tunnel, while offering protection from bombs, was hot, humid, and claustrophobic. When Corregidor surrendered a month later, on May 6, 1942, the nurses, along with thousands of American and Filipino soldiers, became prisoners of war. They were among the first American women to be captured by enemy forces in modern history. Their ordeal as POWs was just beginning. They were first interned at Santo Tomas University in Manila, a civilian internment camp. Initially, conditions were bearable, but they rapidly deteriorated as the war progressed. The nurses, despite their own suffering, continued to care for their fellow internees. They established a rudimentary hospital within the camp, battling diseases with virtually no medicine, relying on ingenuity and sheer willpower. Their resilience was legendary. They organized classes, put on plays, and even published a camp newspaper, all to maintain morale and a sense of normalcy in an abnormal world. It was a testament to the human spirit's refusal to be crushed. Food became scarcer than ever. Towards the end of the war, the Japanese cut rations almost entirely, attempting to starve the internees into submission. Many died of malnutrition and disease, but the nurses continued their fight. One nurse, Lieutenant Ruby Bradley, later became the most decorated woman in U.S. military history. During her 37 months as a POW, she performed 23 major operations, assisted in countless others, and helped deliver 13 babies, all while enduring starvation and brutality. The liberation of Santo Tomas in February 1945 by advancing American forces was a moment of profound relief. The nurses, gaunt and weak, but unbroken, emerged from their captivity to a world they barely recognized. Their journey home was filled with mixed emotions, joy at survival, but also deep trauma and the loss of friends. Many struggled with the physical and psychological scars of their ordeal for the rest of their lives. Upon their return, they were hailed as heroines, receiving medals and accolades. But the true extent of their suffering and the quiet courage they displayed often remained unspoken, buried beneath the surface of a nation eager to move on from the war. The angels of Bataan were more than just nurses. They were symbols of endurance, compassion, and unwavering dedication in the face of unimaginable adversity. Their story reminds us that heroism wears many faces, and often, the most profound acts of courage occur far from the battlefield. Their contributions were vital, not just in saving lives, but in preserving the very humanity of those they cared for. They brought a touch of grace to the brutality of war, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. The legacy of these women resonates today, a powerful reminder of the hidden strength within us all and the enduring power of care, even when all hope seems lost. Their story deserves to be remembered, honored, and shared. Discover another untold tale of courage in our next deep dive into wartime resilience.